guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Anna. I'm a little bit spooky, and today we're talking about the new e.l.f. CC Camo Powder Foundation. I think that's what it's called. Let me double check that. Yeah, Camo Powder Foundation. Product names have gotten so elaborate from some brands that I'm just like, what? What is this even called anymore? Anyways, today we will be reviewing this. And yeah, I have been testing it for a few days. I have my fully formed thoughts. I'm going to throw some examples throughout this video of kind of days I've worn it and documented how it looked throughout the day, as well as a demo. So yeah, let's go ahead and just get into the details of the new e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. Okay, let's start by talking about some of the callouts of this powder foundation before we dive into my fully formed thoughts and opinions and all that. Let's see what they are claiming. The e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation retails for $11, which is a nice price point. I've noticed e.l.f. is steadily climbing up there in their prices, but $11 I can deal with. This is available in 30 shades, which is pretty good range. It looks like they hit a lot of the key kind of shades in here. A nice variety. There's it runs very, very pale, I can tell you that, and it does appear to run pretty deep. This is a primer-infused pressed powder foundation that delivers unbelievable coverage for an airbrush finish. A primer-infused long-wear formula. Buildable formula that offers medium to full coverage, semi-matte finish, creates an airbrushed, even complexion, talc-free, non-comedogenic, available in a wide range of shades, pairs well with the rest of the camo collection. So those are some pretty bold claims there, e.l.f. And you know what? They're not wrong. The first time I applied this product, I'm going to insert some footage here of an epic fail of me using this because I followed the instructions. Things went really awry in this demo here because I used the included sponge, which I will say, this is a nice quality sponge. Like, it's not quite as dinky as some other ones, and you can also buy refills of this and replacement ones. The instructions say to press included powder sponge into powder and gently pat onto face, especially in areas that tend to shine. Reapply as needed throughout the day to absorb excess oil. Now, I don't know if this looks so awful just because maybe the foundation is a couple of shades too light for me, or because it was just very heavy. I tried to zoom in close so you could see that it wasn't just the shade match making it look bad, but just truly the going in and pressing it in such a... It's so full coverage. So much gets picked up on this little sponge. That's what I'm trying to say. Too much will come up on this little sponge, so I don't recommend it. I'm going to tap it. Oh, okay, maybe you can get full coverage. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Ooh. We may have goofed. That is blanking out my face. Don't like that one bit right there. Lord. That. Wow. Where's my buffing brush? I'm going to take my little e.l.f. buffing brush and try to kind of diffuse that a little bit. Oh no. No. I don't like that. That looks like ass right there. That looks so dry. Oh. I mean, there's not a pore in sight, but there's this right here is so dry looking. Can you blend out, please, and shear out? No? Okay. We're not going to shear out. Why are you not shearing out? It's like where you put it, it stays. Oh, Lord. Okay, I definitely do not like it applied with that. Oh gosh, fuck that thing. Oh, it looks so dry. Oh no. Oh, it's like coming off my nose. Oh, this is awful. Oh, oh no. This looks terrible on my nose. It looks so chalky. Look at, oh, you can see it like, oh, ew. Okay, this is terrible. What happened? How bad this is looking. All right, here's, look at my, can you see my under eye? All these lines under here that it's emphasizing. Like, it looks so crepey. And then when I tried to blend it out, it just did this. And it's like it just stuck onto my face. It's very, ew. I think maybe if you're on the go and trying to do some touch-ups, you could like do that. Like, and then kind of tap off the excess and then go in and maybe pat and touch up on the go. But otherwise, using the sponge just on my initial application, just going in, was so bad. Like, so bad that this almost got thrown in the trash. Bad. Like, oh man. And as you can see from that footage, I think you might agree that it was really bad. Again, like, I think the shade being a little light, the contrast between my skin tone, my face is very red in comparison to the rest of my body. So the contrast of this being very full coverage against my pretty red skin was very stark. It was very stark. And I'm not a full coverage kind of gal. Now, I think there's definitely somebody out there who is going to love that full coverage aspect of this, which is just not for me. That is a personal preference thing. I like a light to medium coverage and be able to control it. If I want to go full coverage, I can. Which, thankfully, I decided to experiment with this in a few other ways and see how it performs in various different application techniques and skincare primers and that sort of thing. So what I have found that works best for me is a large powder brush, as seen in the demo here. I do go in with my concealer first. I've been using the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer underneath. I prefer the Hydrating Camo Concealer to the original. And then I take a large brush and apply this to the majority of my face, down my neck, make sure everything's blended. And then when I get to like the T-zone or anywhere that I want a little extra coverage, I will go in with a foundation buffing brush. I think my favorite one for that is the e.l.f. Buffing Foundation or the Ultimate Blending. I really like to take this one kind of like in that T-zone to pat around and build up that coverage where I need it. And yeah, that to me has worked out really, really well. And I've gotten a really nice finish from the product, and it hasn't been too heavy. It hasn't looked cakey or overly dry or just bad like it did in that initial little application attempt, which after that, I literally went and washed my face and started over on my foundation because it was just a no-go. But yeah, doing a nice light dusting of this with the larger powder brush and then maybe focusing in on areas that I want a little more coverage has been great. Like, beautiful finish. And since I've been using this for the last week, I've been testing it out every day, and I've worn it to a couple of dinners with friends and get-togethers, and then also wore it when I was doing makeup on 4 people for a Mardi Gras ball, and I was all up close and personal, you know, doing makeup, and nearly every single, I think almost every single one of the girls that I did makeup on complimented my skin when I was wearing this. The main thing they said is that my skin looked super creamy, even, flawless, airbrush looking, like all these fantastic things that you want your skin to be called. They said that. They complimented my skin that way and noted these things that I don't think I've ever been told about my skin. And then a few nights before that, one of my other friends mentioned how pretty my skin looked with this foundation. They loved how smooth everything looked and kind of still a little glowy, but it was more of a skin-like glow, that semi-matte finish, where it wasn't super flat, matte, cakey, dry looking. It just has that very soft focus look to it. I was very surprised to hear so many compliments about this product. And at the end of the day, I think my skin still looked pretty. It looked a little dewy by the end of the day, obviously, because I do tend to get oily throughout the day. And all I would have to do was like pat on a little bit more with like that buffing brush and would have been good to go. And yeah, I think this touches up really well, really easy. This is a good product to throw in your bag because the touch-ups are so easy with it, because it's just a powder and you do have the included sponge. Just, you know, be very careful with it. Honestly, I would go ahead and bring my little foundation brush with me, or get a little travel size one and use that for touch-ups, because that's just me. But most of the time I don't bother touching up when I'm out because I don't care. But anyway, I found that it touched up nicely without getting cakey. That is true, and I do think it doesn't emphasize lines too much considering it is a matte finish. I think things look pretty smooth. I'll insert some close-up pictures and footage here of how my skin looked. I'm wearing it today, obviously, and I've kind of built it up to do more full coverage just to see what it would do and if I would like it. And honestly, I do like it. Now, the only place that I don't care for it so much would be right under the eye. I think it can look a little dry under there. But everywhere else on the face, I think it looks really good. Like, I love the way it looks on my forehead and my cheeks, my nose. Everything does look very smooth, very airbrushed and flawless. I just think it can be a little heavy / dry for under eyes. That might be the concealer. I do want to test it with some different concealers. I don't think I have done that. I've used it with just the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. Now, this is primer infused, which I found really interesting, because when I did try to use a primer underneath, that did not go well either. To me, it made it look very dry. Now, I have been very oily lately. Like, had some trouble with oil in the T-zone and looking super greasy about halfway through the day. That's been a common theme, and you know, some of the days I've worn this without a primer, that had happened, but it wasn't terrible, but I was looking a little dewy, right? So I thought, okay, well, we'll go in with a primer. And I tend to use like something like the Magic Perfecting Base. So I decided to go ahead and, you know, use one of the e.l.f. putty primers underneath, because I figured e.l.f. products get along. No. To me, that made it look heavy and get a little cakey and a little too dry looking when I went in with a pore filling smoothing primer or something that has a little bit more of a matte finish. Now, I do think a hydrating primer would look fantastic underneath this. Some good skincare, yeah, plays really well with this. Dewier products underneath play really well, such as like going in with like an SPF like the Lighthearted, which can leave a little bit of a greasiness on the skin. It applies beautifully over that, and anything hydrating, they get along so well and look so airbrushed and smooth. I just find when you use maybe another mattifying primer or a pore filling primer, things got real cakey and real dry and crepey looking, and it wasn't good. So that is another little thing I learned with this. But overall, I think this is a beautiful product. Just, you gotta find the way that make it work for you, and finding your exact shade match. If you're wanting to go full coverage with it, you're gonna have to really hone in on that shade match and get it just right, because it is very full coverage. Like, personally, I think I could have gone with maybe 150 neutral, because I have 120 neutral, and it is veering almost too light for me. Very much used to seeing my face being a little bit darker, just because of it tends to have more color in it from sun and whatever. But anyway, aside from that, I do think I could probably go up a shade or two and stick with that neutral undertone. I'm afraid if I go too cool, it's going to pull a little too pink, because I feel like the neutral one is cool enough for me. Otherwise, yeah, the powder itself is very soft. And as you can see, like, just rub my finger in it. Look how much comes up. This is a very much a full coverage type of product. But I do think it is very pretty. It has a nice feel to it. It's not like super silky or anything, but it feels good and is smooth. And it just does airbrush the skin beautifully. If you are looking for something very fast to put on your face and just with a big old brush and be evened out and ready out the door with a little hit of concealer maybe on the under eyes beforehand, this is something to look at. This is a very easy, quick product. And if you are looking for something that does cover a lot more, but is still quick and easy to apply, this would also fit that ticket. And yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with this product. I'm impressed with the way it wears. The finish of it, it was not something I was intending to like. Honestly, I bought it on a whim just to see if powder foundation might be for me these days since I am a little more oily. Maybe I would get along with it better. But I was not anticipating to like it, much less anticipate compliments on it. I'm pretty happy with this product. And if you are looking for a nice powder foundation, this is a good option for $11, and I would just say play with it, experiment, and try to find the way that it applies best for you, because I think that's going to be a very personal thing. I don't think the sponge is going to work for everybody. Patting it on with this little guy, because that is so full coverage. Like, I mean, if you're wanting to cover tattoos maybe, then it's got you covered, but it's a lot. It's a lot of coverage. But with a light hand, I think it does apply beautifully. I feel like this product is going to use up quickly. As you see, I've only been using it a week, and I've already completely obliterated where it says e.l.f. on the inside. It had this kind of imprint in there. And the packaging is quite lovely as well. I like the white. It's very clean looking. I haven't noticed it get grubby or anything yet. And my dirty little makeup fingers have not gotten it nasty. So that is also quite nice. I like the clean aesthetic of this. And it has a really, really good mirror on the inside, and then you have your little sponge underneath and the little flippy thing. So the packaging is sturdy feeling, even though it's plastic. I feel like you could throw this in your bag and not have to worry about it getting crushed or anything, or it coming open, because this little lid is pretty on there. I think it's has a nice little clamp to it. Is definitely more substantial packaging than previous e.l.f. powders I've had. My final verdict though is this is a pretty dang good powder foundation if you're looking for that type of product, and if you like full coverage, and if you want something quick and easy. I think the only person who probably would not enjoy this would be dry skin. If you have dry skin, this is not going to be your friend. It will emphasize the dryness. But if you have kind of balanced into oily skin, you'll like this. It'll do great for you. And yeah, I do think the wear time is pretty decent. It will start to break down and get a little oily on you throughout the day, but it is incredibly easy to touch up. So I think that's a nice perk to it, and that it is very travel friendly as well. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. I am pleasantly surprised. I think I like it much better than previous powder foundations I've tried. Admittedly, I haven't used powder foundation in 15 years probably. It's the technology has definitely gotten better. I've just never had much interest in them. But this one definitely performed well, and I'm quite impressed with it. I do like the way my skin looks with it. And again, it is something very quick and easy that I can throw on. Even today when my skin's a little bit dry because we had a cold snap and I have some surface dryness kind of going on, it still looks good. Like, it's not emphasizing any of that, and I think it looks nice. Overall, it will come down to your personal preference on what type of product you like, but for me, this has found its place within my makeup collection and rotation. So yeah, that is all for today. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay spooky. Bye now.